What are some of the potential problems or challenges with reinforcement learning, as we stand here? What are some these things that are stopping it to become the next technology to go to for?
Perhaps three main types of challenges that RL is facing today. Right? The first is something we mentioned previously in the answer to the previous question, which was that there is a somewhat difficult to explain how an RL algorithm produced a decision. Right? So, for those of us who are somewhat familiar with deep learning, you will know that there is difficulty in explaining the outputs of deep learning or explaining what it is that the algorithm has learned. That is even more true for reinforcement learning. And especially if you are doing something that is life critical or health critical, then it becomes very important to explain what decisions are being produced and why. The second type of difficulty really is in building reliable simulations or simulators for training reinforcement learning algorithms. Right? One of the key requirements of RL is that you have to build a sandbox or an in silico representation of the system you are trying to control, because you want to train the algorithm before you deploy it on the real world system. And for this kind of application, it becomes important to build a very good simulator, because if the simulator is not good enough, what the RL algorithm learns is not good enough. And then when it is deployed in the real world, it becomes a huge issue for it to retrain and adjust to the real conditions that it sees. Right? So building reliable simulations is the second key challenge. And the third main challenge is that of sample inefficiency. By that, what I mean is that the amount of training required for an RL algorithm to produce reasonably good decisions is right now very, very high. So there are only a few big industrial labs, Google, Facebook, OpenAI kind of labs, which can afford that kind of hardware and software investment to train very large RL models. And that needs to come down. So these three challenges, the explainability challenge, the simulation reliability challenge, and the sample inefficiency, are the key things we'll have to overcome to make RL practical in the future.